Niantic has announced all the details for this year's December Community Day, and just like previous years, this is going to be a recap Community Day featuring every single Community Day Pokemon we've had up until now. I'm going to be going over the details for this Community Day and also sharing some thoughts regarding which Pokemon you should focus in on. Alright, what's happening everyone? Jinsula here with a brand new Pokemon GO video. I hope your day is going really well, and let's get right into it. So this year's December Community Day is going to be very similar to previous years, where we're going to be seeing every single Community Day Pokemon from 2025. And there's quite a bit of notable ones. We did get a lot of really good Community Days this year, and that means for this recap Community Day, there's going to be a couple of Pokemon you will want to get more than others. So let's go over the details for this particular event, and then afterwards let me share some thoughts and some tips for this particular Community Day. December Community Day 2025 is going to be happening on Saturday, December 6th and Sunday, December 7th from 2 o'clock p.m. to 5 o'clock p.m. local time. Something you need to keep in mind is that this is going to be directly after the November Community Day featuring Pick-a-Peck. We're basically going to be getting 2 Community Days in a row. That is something that is very untypical for these Community Days. So yeah, I think it's very interesting that Niantic is doing that. We're going to be getting Pick-a-Peck Community Day on November 30th, and directly a week after, we're going to be getting December Community Day. And of course, every single Community Day Pokemon that we've had this year is going to be featured for this event. We have Machop, Eevee, Totodile, Routes, Solosis, Vanillite, Karrablast, Shelmet, and all of the different versions of Flabébé, Pick-a-Peck, Jangmo-o, Rookidee, Sprigatito, Fuecoco, Quaxly, and Palmy. These are all going to be spawning on various days during this event, and I really do think this roster of Community Day Pokemon is one of the most exciting that we've had. Now, speaking of what Pokemon is going to be spawning on which days, on Saturday, December 6th, you're going to be seeing Vanillite, Karrablast, Shelmet, Sprigatito, Fuecoco, and Palmy. And then on Sunday, December 7th, we're going to have the various colors of Flabébé, and if you look at the infographic, you would know which region is going to be spawning which color. And then we're going to have Solosis, Pick-a-Peck, Jangmo-o, Rookidee, and Quaxly. And then for the last 10 minutes of each hour between 2 o'clock p.m. and 5 o'clock p.m. for each day, we're going to be seeing Machop, Eevee, Totodile, and Routes. These are of course the Community Day Classic Pokemon that we got this year. Next, let's move on to the event bonuses, and considering this is a recap Community Day, we're going to see a substantial amount of bonuses compared to other Community Days. First off, we're going to have different evolution requirements for Espeon, Umbreon, Sylveon, Florges, as well as Pawmod, and then you're going to have double the amount of catch candy and double the amount of experience for catching Pokemon, and you're going to have double the chance at getting Candy XL. And then you're also going to get double the amount of Stardust for every Pokemon you catch, and then every egg that you place in incubators during this event is going to have a half egg hatch distance. And then Incense, excluding the Daily Adventure Incense, is going to last for 3 hours, and Lure modules are going to last for 1 hour. And then we're going to get 1 additional special trade, and trades are going to cost 50% less Stardust. And then finally, there's going to be a special research ticket which you can purchase in the web store or the in-game shop. And it's going to give you encounters with Pokemon that were featured in 2025 Community Days. There's also going to be field research rewards with 2025 Community Day Pokemon, and then there's also going to be a Community Ambassador timed research, which is also going to give you 2025 Community Day Pokemon. And I'm not too sure if they're also going to be including special backgrounds. They did not actually state it within this infographic, but I would presume that yes, there will be special background versions of these Community Day Pokemon, which you will be able to get from the special research as well as the field research tasks. And I've been saying this for pretty much the last several Community Days, but do not ignore field research because it's going to be a great way for you to pick up high IV shinies during this event. It's kind of like limited research days kind of fused together with Community Days. Field research could be a great way for you to pick up some high IV shinies, and that is definitely an aspect of Community Days most recently that I feel like a lot of players are underutilizing. And then of course there's going to be collection challenges, and I'm assuming assuming with these collection challenges, there's going to be rewards that are going to be Pokemon encounters, so do keep on the lookout for that. Alright, so there's quite a lot of Pokemon to go after during this year's December Community Day. It's going to be filled with a lot of really solid Pokemon. Notably, we are of course going to be getting the starter Pokemon from Scarlet and Violet, and then of course we have a bunch of notable Pokemon when it comes to PvP. These are some of the Pokemon that I would focus in on, specifically Rookidee. I think that is going to be a Pokemon that will actually have a lot of value after this year's Community Days, and I also think the starters could potentially be really good as well. I do think that one of the things that makes starter Pokemon really useful right now is, of course, whether or not they have a Mega Evolution. However, when it comes to these specific starter Pokemon, I will say that at least for one of them, they actually do have some uses when it comes to PvP, and I'm of course talking about Fuecoco's evolved form. With the Community Day move, along with a bunch of other moves that it has in its arsenal, I think this Pokemon could be a very heavy hitter when it comes to either the Great League or the Ultra League. And then of course, there's a lot of other goodies like Pick-a-Peck, which is going to be the November Community Day Pokemon. I think that is going to be fresh on people's minds, and people will want to get the shiny forms of Toucannon. So yeah, I think this is all looking really good. I think there's definitely going to be some solid options. And then of course, when it comes to the Community Day Classic Pokemon, those are also pretty good as well, because Feraligatr has always been kind of like a staple within the PvP, and that's been the case for the past couple of seasons. So yeah, this is all looking to be really fun. I think when it comes to the Community Day Pokemon, it's primarily geared towards PvP. Unfortunately, there's not going to be really solid options when it comes to PvE content. Unfortunately, I think a lot of the best PvE Pokemon were released years ago, and now we're just kind of looking at PvP Pokemon. Even the pseudo-legendary for this year, Jangmo-O, that doesn't evolve into anything that is substantial when it comes to PvE. It's really just a PvP Pokemon, like pretty much every single one of these. So yeah, I think if you're someone who is looking to get a really solid team for PvP for the next season, this is actually going to be a pretty decent Community Day for you. But for everyone else, it's basically just going to be your typical shiny hunt, but do not ignore those bonuses. You're going to get double the amount of experience, as well as double the amount of Stardust, and double the amount of candy, all that good stuff. So this could be a really good Stardust and experience grind, especially if you're trying to hit level 80. So yeah, that's pretty much it. This is going to be December Community Day. Again, just like previous years, it's going to be a recap Community Day, so if there's a particular Community Day Pokemon that you missed out on and you do not have any shinies for them, this is going to be your second opportunity to get them. And also keep in mind what dates those specific Pokemon are going to be spawning at. So yeah, and that's gonna be it for this video. Definitely share your thoughts regarding everything that I talked about down below. Is there something in particular regarding this Community Day that you are looking forward to? And is there a particular Pokemon that you're going to be focusing in on? Definitely share what that is in the comment section down below, and let's have a great discussion. And thank you so much for making it all the way to the end of this video. I really hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if it's your first time here, and don't forget that notification bell so you know exactly when I upload videos. And real quick, let me give a shout out to every single one of my patrons on Patreon. You make this channel content possible. If you want to support the Jinsula channel, if you want to support everything that I do, the best way you could do that is going to be by joining my Patreon. And in return, I'm actually going to add you to my Pokemon GO friends list, and that means for stuff like remote raids, the friendship system, all that good stuff, possibly remote trades in the future. If you want to play Pokemon GO with me, then make sure you go and check out my Patreon. I'll put a link to it in the description below. And if you want to support my channel in a completely different way, you could do so by following me on social media. My handle is @Jinsula. I'm on the platforms you see right now on the bottom of your screen. Make sure you go over there and give me a follow. That'll be a huge help to my channel as well. And you'll have access to some exclusive content, and you'll be able to keep up with my daily life. And one more thing, if you actually want to get some nice gifts for family members or for yourself and you're a big fan of K-pop, I actually have an Etsy store, and you should definitely go and check it out. I'll put a link to it in the description below. I am creating a whole bunch of really cool stuff for my Etsy store, and it'd be really cool if you could check it out, and maybe you could find something for the K-pop fan in your life. That's primarily what I try to make with my stores. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's going to be it for this video. I'm Jinsula. Be safe, have fun, love yourself today, and I'll catch you all later.